What is up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Grant from One Fair Review, and today we are looking at Justice League, the much anticipated DC movie since Wonder Woman. Now, I never got to review Wonder Woman, but I will kind of touch upon that as we go along. But let's just get right into Justice League, because I feel that I've talked about the DC cinematic universe and how I kind of feel about it for a long time. So I know you guys want to hear my thoughts, so let's get right into it. So Justice League is based on a comic called Justice League War, which is a fairly recent comic where it pretty much throws all the characters together and then they have to fight Darkseid. Now, in this movie, Darkseid is not in here. I can assure all of you that he is not in here at all. It is Steppenwolf. And the basic story is this. At one point, Steppenwolf came over with his parademons and this huge invasion plan to destroy the planet and turn it into this like apocalyptic planet, which is pretty much in the comics as well. However, the forces of the Earth pretty much all turned against him. The Amazonians, the Atlanteans, and different tribes of man, they all fought him, and in this fight there was also the Lantern Corps, and even Zeus himself all defeated Steppenwolf. So what ended up happening is that he was put in exile, and he has ever since been trying to get back to Earth to reclaim it. In this movie, we start off with Batman, how he pretty much already knows what's kind of going on. He knows about the parademons. He's been chasing them. He knows that they feed on fear, so he's been trying to find out what's going on or when the invasion's happening or exactly just how to defeat it. And in this, he also, with him and Wonder Woman, they are trying to assemble a team of these misfits to fight this guy. That's pretty much the story. And it never really deviates from that. It never really has a twist. It's pretty much the same thing the entire way through. What they tell you in the beginning, you pretty much see in the end. We're going to defeat Steppenwolf. Okay. And that's not a bad thing. I mean, it's a very simple setup, which is cool. The setup of them going to recruit the heroes, all that's cool. Seeing them all get together, that's cool. And then finally seeing them fight, that's awesome. Like, that stuff, it's very important to, obviously, a Justice League movie. However, let's just get kind of into it more deep into it, and let's just get into the parts that I liked first. The absolute thing I liked about the movie were the characters. All of the actors portraying the different characters from the comic books were solid. I loved every single one of them. Now, we've already seen Wonder Woman, and I never talked about the Wonder Woman standalone movie, but I love that movie. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was a great movie. It was like the best DC cinematic universe movie, and if I was to rate it, I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10. I actually really liked that movie, and I liked what they did with her character. In this movie, they continue with the same thing. She is pretty much the exact same character, and she nails it. She just does a good job, and I will admit, I was one of the people saying that I didn't think she fit the role at first, but now I'm actually kind of thinking to myself, like, no, she actually does a really damn good job. But, you know, like, she did a great job, and if you guys loved Wonder Woman, you're going to love her in this movie. She has a lot of great moments. She has a lot of good scenes and everything. Batman, I've said this before. Ben Affleck as Batman, I really like how he looks. I like his attitude. I like how they're portraying him. I like the visuals behind him. However, Batman vs. Superman didn't work for me. It was very disappointing and a really bad movie. However, in here, they kind of do a better job with Batman. I'm not going to say they did an amazing job, because obviously he's still not a detective, the world's greatest detective, but they do give that awesome kind of Batman vibe that everybody wants from a Batman performance. I actually did like him in this movie, and I have to say, it was pretty funny to see how he got his ass handed to him at points. He's not a badass. I mean, he is a badass, but he's not like a superhero, like that could fight like these parademons or Steppenwolf. Like, he will get his ass handed to him when he goes up against people, against powers, and he does have a plan. I'll give him that. He does actually come up with a few plans to kind of to counteract that, but I thought it was funny. There were some points where it was just like, oh, that's kind of funny. What's going on? But yeah, other than that, I loved Ben Affleck as Batman. I thought he did a great job, and I liked how in this movie he was really mourning the death of Superman. At times, they took it really, really far, like too far. In fact, there was times where it was just like, fucking shit, Batman. Okay, I get it. You're really sad that it was your fault. I mean, okay, that's understandable. As for the other ones, I will say something right now. One of the biggest surprises of the movie was Cyborg for me. I didn't expect Cyborg to be that good. I actually expected him to be like kind of a drag, just kind of be like, yeah, whatever. Like, we're not going to pay attention to him too much. But I actually really liked his portrayal in this movie. I actually really liked the actor they got. He did a great job. I have to admit, he did an awesome job as Cyborg. And I really liked, his role in this movie. Like, I understood, understood who he was. I understood his character that they were portraying. Like, I understood his emotions that he was going through. It was really good. It was well done. However, again, this is the first movie he's introduced into, and they couldn't get through everything, which that's going to be a common theme throughout the movie. As for The Flash and Aquaman, I don't think I have anything new that other people haven't. I absolutely loved Aquaman. I thought he was badass as shit. In fact, I would say he was probably one of the most badass parts of this movie, and one of the reasons why I am excited to see an Aquaman movie just dedicated to him, because he was so awesome. The Flash as well. I thought he was funny a lot. I can't think of a single joke that I didn't laugh at. There probably was a few, but for every bad joke he had like 3 really good ones, and I thought he was pretty funny. And there was one scene in the movie that just had me laughing for so long. It wasn't even supposed to be that funny. It was supposed to be intimidating. And I can't give away too much, but it was hilarious. But mainly because it was so awesome, it was hilarious. So yeah, all the characters were great. And I thought the actors portraying them all did a good job. I was, in some ways, pleasantly surprised by some of the characters or actors. And in other ways, I was like, I know that they're going to work, and they excelled. So to me, that's a good thing about the movie. In terms of other good things I liked about the movie, oops, I just hit my microphone. My bad. In terms of things I also thought were really good in the movie, visually speaking, the movie looks like a fucking comic book. Like, straight up. Like, the first scene in the movie where it takes place in Gotham, oh my god, it looks like straight out of the comics. It looks straight out of like Tim Burton's Batman, and like a mix between Tim Burton's Batman and just kind of like comic book Batman. It was really, really visually interesting. In fact, everything in the movie was visually interesting. This is Zack Snyder after all. Everything was shot beautifully. All the visuals were great. The CGI was not the best, but I feel like that is a stylistical choice, that it wasn't supposed to look amazing. But there are some instances where it did bug me, like Steppenwolf, but I'll get to Steppenwolf later on. The action scenes in the movie were great. I don't really need to say anything more. Especially one action scene I thought was absolutely badass. Well, there was a ton, but my favorite one of my favorite parts of the movie, and I can't give away anything, but for those of you who have watched the movie, that one scene where they're at the Superman Memorial and the heroes are there. I'm just going to say that was a really awesome scene. I actually really liked that. As a fan, that made me just like, whoa, like that's pretty cool. So I like the action in the movie. I like the characters. I like the humor. I like the lighter tone of the movie. However, there are some... Oh, and before I actually go to that, let's just say this. I don't want to give away the movie. Superman is in the movie. And I will also say that Superman's in the movie a good amount. And I'll just say I like what they did with Superman in this movie. I liked in the beginning how everyone in the world is mourning Superman's death. Everybody's in mourning. Everyone's kind of like in a terrible mood. Like all around the world, everybody's kind of remembering Superman in a way. So I thought that was really good. And then later on, let's just say Superman is in the movie. He's in it a good amount, and I do like what they do with him. Now to get into the more stuff I didn't like about the movie. One thing that was a glaring issue, and I think everybody's talking about it, is the pacing. The pacing at times is really, really awkward. There is a lot of awkward pacing. There's a lot of awkward scenes in a way because of just bad pacing in general. And this is probably because of the studio mandate that they said that the movie needed to be less than 2 hours, and the movie originally was supposed to be like, I think, 2 hours and 40 or 45 minutes, something like that. And they had to cut down, from what I could say, probably 46 minutes, because the movie is 1 hour and 58 minutes long. That's a lot of footage and a lot of scenes taken out of a movie. And it does show. There's a lot of scenes in the movie that I just felt were needed or just needed to be there, or it just felt like there was more there, but there wasn't. Like, I felt like there was more banter with the heroes, and there just wasn't. And there are some scenes later on where I'm not gonna spoil, but there are scenes later on where it's like these characters are saying something. I was like, you didn't really earn that, to be honest. And it's just like it's very obvious that there was a lot of things taken out because of the studio mandate. And of course, there's another fucking reason why WB is just really bad at just like meddling in with these movies. Like all 3 times now that they've meddled in, they've made the movies significantly worse. And that's the problem with this movie. The pacing's pretty bad. There are scenes that kind of don't match, just jump cut to like other stuff, and I'll be like, okay, what the fuck's going on here? Or just like, just scenes just feel missing. There's a lot of missing scenes. Like, especially, like, since I know the comic that they're kind of basing on, and I'm kind of thinking about the trailer footage, and just as a movie buff guy, as what I expect usually in movies, what I predict, there was a lot of things that I thought was going to happen that didn't, or that I felt the movie needed, and it just didn't have it. Just a perfect example would be, at one point in the movie, Aquaman says, "I need to pick something up." And then nothing after that. Literally, he just says, "I need to get something." And then later on, they never mention what he got. So it's very clear, at that point especially, it's very clear that, oh yeah, something was removed. Or another part was, there's like a complete another like jump cut in a way where it's like, there's a mother box on a car, and then I don't know how to explain it without spoiling the movie, but let's just say like there's just this weird scene where the enemy somehow gets a mother box and you don't know how they did it. It just shows, and they're like, "Oh, it's missing," and then you see a portal a million miles away. It's like, wait, how did they get the mother box? Shouldn't they have shown what happened? Stuff like that was really bugging me because I really expected that there was more. I knew that there was more, but they just, obviously they couldn't show more because the studio said, no, it has to be under 2 hours, which sucks. They really did do the movie a disadvantage. On top of that, speaking of what I felt should have been more, Steppenwolf in this movie, it felt like there was more things to do with him. I felt like there was more scenes with him. I felt like there was more to him. But again, he's in the movie a good amount, but also a small amount of time. And it's like we never really get to know Steppenwolf. He's just kind of a villain. And honestly, he's not a threatening villain in this movie. Like, at all. Like, it really feels like he's not up to it. He can't fight all of these heroes by himself. Like, he's not getting his ass kicked, but it's just like, it just feels like, okay, is he that big of a threat? I mean, not really. I mean, Zod in Man of Steel felt like a threat. Steppenwolf at no point was like, oh yeah, he's a big threat. I mean, in the comics, yes, but here it was just like, maybe there's something missing. On top of that, I will say that he was one of the few CGI elements in the movie that did bug me. The parademons, they didn't bug me. Some of the visual effects, they didn't bug me. But Steppenwolf, yeah, that did kind of bug me a lot. I thought he looked awkward at times, and I thought he flat out just didn't work. He didn't look well, and he didn't look real. I don't know how to explain it. He didn't look right. He did have some great scenes. For instance, when he fights the Amazonians, badass. When he fights the Justice League, it's all badass. But there needed to be more there. He wasn't that much of a compelling villain at all. But again, There must have been a lot of cuts in this movie, which is a big shame. On top of that, the movie needed more going for it. It needed more movies before they really rushed this movie, and even with the studio mandate of under 2 hours, it feels rushed and it feels like the pacing's really bad at times, and it does get annoying. For a comic book fan and for a fan of the DC universe, I know what's going on, but for most people, they're probably going to be confused on a lot of the things in this movie, and I have to think of it that way. I thought it was a fun, enjoyable movie, but there are times where I was just like, well, okay, what about this? What about that? And I think my brother pointed out when we left the theater, he was like, like the movie was really fun, but if you ask me like what order the scenes came in, it's like I don't even remember what the fuck happened. Like I remember the scenes, but I don't remember the order. It was really odd. That being said, as a fan, it's a step in the right direction. That's the best thing I say for it. This is way better than Batman vs. Superman, way better than Suicide Squad. This, to me, is a step in the right direction. I think Wonder Woman is a much better movie. It's a great movie. I felt like this was a good, enjoyable movie. I loved the characters. I loved the actors. There was a lot of good nods to the comic. 2 end credit scenes that just like had me going, whoa, that's awesome. The visuals were great. Music by Danny Elfman was amazing. And by the way, I wanna if I ever meet Danny Elfman, I'm gonna give you a big fucking kiss on your fucking cheek, man. And I'm gonna slap you so hard because god damn it, I thank the Lord that you put not only the original Batman theme in this movie, but you even used a little bit of the original Superman theme. What the fuck? That's awesome. I love that part. Anyways, to kind of wrap up this review, because it is getting kind of a long video. All in all, I didn't think the movie was bad. I thought it was really enjoyable. I thought it was really fun. I thought the characters were great. There was some good lighter moments. There was some good nods to the comics. And if you're a fan, you're probably going to like this movie. However, Steppenwolf was weak. The story pacing was really bad at times. And it was just missing a lot of elements. And it just at times it just didn't work because of the pacing, because of the studio mandate. So my final verdict for Justice League is a 7 out of 10. I do believe this is a good movie. I do believe you can enjoy it. And I do believe this is a great step in the right direction. But really what Justice League did for me was it made me excited to see other movies. I'm excited to watch Aquaman. I'm excited to watch Cyborg. I actually didn't expect to be excited to see a Cyborg movie. And I'm excited to see The Flash. And I'm excited to see more Man of Steel, more Wonder Woman. Batman, I don't know what's going on with Batman. Ben Affleck says that he wants to go out with a bang with Batman, which is good. I'd rather you go out with a bang than just go out. Batman, I don't know when they're going to put his movie in production. However, I am excited to see more Batman. I do know he's going to be in Justice League, another Justice League movie, which, that's cool. And I do want to see what other Batman movie that they come out with. I am interested in seeing that. Other than that, I'm excited to see more stuff. I really wish that Justice League was better, but at the end of the day, it's a 7 out of 10, and I really badly want to see a director's cut of this movie because I feel like it would fix a lot or it would improve. At least I hope. Anyways, if you guys have watched the movie, let me know down in the comments down below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Who knows? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe to the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. As always, have a nice day.